Refrigeration is a common method of food preservation, as it helps extend the shelf life of perishable items and prevents the growth of bacteria. However, not all foods benefit from being stored in the refrigerator. In fact, some foods can be negatively affected by cold temperatures, leading to changes in texture, flavor, or even spoilage. In this video, we will explore a variety of foods that are best kept outside the fridge. Tomatoes. When exposed to cold temperatures, tomatoes tend to lose their flavor and become mealy. Instead, store them at room temperature, ideally in a basket or on a countertop away from direct sunlight. This will help them ripen evenly and retain their delicious taste. Potatoes. Refrigerating potatoes can cause their starch content to convert into sugar more quickly, resulting in a gritty texture and a sweet taste when cooked. It is preferable to keep them in a cool, dark place like a pantry or cupboard, preferably in a paper bag to allow for proper air circulation. Onions. Onions should be stored in a dry, well-ventilated area, away from other produce. The moisture inside the refrigerator can cause onions to become soft and moldy. Instead, keep them in a cool, dark place such as a pantry or a mesh bag to allow for air circulation. Garlic. Similar to onions, garlic does best when stored in a dry, well-ventilated spot. The humidity of the refrigerator can cause it to sprout or become moldy. Preserve the flavor and quality of garlic by storing it in a cool, dark pantry or in a garlic keeper. Avocados. Avocados are typically sold unripe, and refrigerating them slows down the ripening process. However, once an avocado reaches its desired ripeness, it can be refrigerated to prolong its shelf life. If you have a ripe avocado, it's best to keep it on the countertop until ready to eat. Bananas. Placing bananas in the refrigerator will cause their peels to darken and become unsightly. While the skin may change color, the fruit inside will still ripen. If you want to slow down the ripening process, you can place them in the fridge, but it's best to keep them at room temperature for optimal taste and texture. Bread. Storing bread in the refrigerator can cause it to go stale faster. The cool temperatures can dry out the bread, making it tough and unappetizing. Instead, keep bread in a bread box or a cool, dry place like a pantry to maintain its freshness. Honey. Honey has a remarkably long shelf life due to its low moisture content and natural antibacterial properties. Refrigerating honey can cause it to crystallize and become thick and clumpy. Keep it in a tightly sealed container at room temperature, and it will stay fresh indefinitely. Melons. Whole melons such as watermelons, cantaloupes, and honeydews should not be refrigerated until they are cut. The cold temperature can alter their texture and make them lose their natural sweetness. Once sliced, you can store the leftover melon in the fridge. Coffee. Storing coffee beans or ground coffee in the refrigerator can lead to moisture buildup and compromise the flavor. It's best to keep coffee in an airtight container in a cool, dry place like a pantry. The same applies to tea leaves. In conclusion, while refrigeration is an effective way to prolong the shelf life of many foods, there are several items that fare better when stored outside the fridge. Tomatoes, potatoes, onions, garlic, avocados, bananas, bread, honey, melons, coffee, and tea leaves are just a few examples of foods that should be kept at room temperature or in specific storage conditions to maintain their optimal taste, texture, and quality. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your food stays fresh and enjoyable for longer periods.